Hey there, and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. Thank you for joining me on my journey through the Bible today. So, this is actually my third reading that I've done for the night. I'm trying to catch up, so I might look the same as in the previous two videos. I did change locations just to switch it up because sometimes I like to move around and be different. But anyway, we're reading in Joshua 16 through 18, and it is once again a lot of names of locations and lands that were given to the Israelites by the Lord. So we're going to try to get through this. I'm terrible at pronouncing these names, but I'm going to do my best, and I hope that you'll stick around and join me for it. So here we go with Joshua chapter 16. The allotment for the descendants of Joseph went from the Jordan at Jericho to the waters of Jericho on the east, through the wilderness, ascending from Jericho into the hill country of Bethel. From Bethel it went to Luz and proceeded to the border of the Archites by Ataroth. It then descended westward to the border of the Japhletites, as far as the border of lower Beth Horon, then to Gezer, and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. So Ephraim and Manasseh, the sons of Joseph, received their inheritance. This was the territory of the descendants of Ephraim by their clans. The border of their inheritance went from Adaroth Adar on the east of upper Beth Horon. In the north, the border went westward from Michmethoth. It turned eastward from Tenoth Shiloh, and passed it east of Genoa. From Genoa, it descended to Adaroth and Nerah, and then reached Jericho and went to the Jordan. From Tupah, the border went westward along the brook of Kanah and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the descendants of Ephraim by their clans, together with the cities set apart for the descendants of Ephraim within the inheritance of the descendants of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. But they did not drive out the Canaanites who lived in Gezer. So the Canaanites lived in Ephraim to this day, but they are forced laborers. Chapter 17. This was the allotment for the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn. Gilead and Bashan came to Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, and the father of Gilead, who was a man of war. So the allotment was for the rest of Manasseh's descendants by their clans, for the sons of Abiezer, Helik, Ezriel, Shechem, Hephir, and Shemida. These are the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, by their clans. Now Zelophehad, son of Hephir, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons, only daughters. These are the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They came before Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders, saying, The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our male relatives. So they gave them an inheritance among their father's brothers in keeping with the Lord's instruction. As a result, 10 tracts fell to Manasseh, besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which are beyond the Jordan, because Manasseh's daughters received an inheritance among his sons. The land of Gilead belonged to the rest of Manasseh's sons. The border of Manasseh went from Asher to Michmethoth near Shechem. It then went southward toward the inhabitants of En Tupah. The region of Tupah belonged to Manasseh, but Tupah itself on Manasseh's border belonged to the descendants of Ephraim. From there the border descended to the brook of Kanah. South of the brook, cities belonged to Ephraim, among Manasseh's cities. Manasseh's border was on the north side of the brook and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. Ephraim's territory was to the south and Manasseh's to the north, and the sea as its border. They reached Asher on the north and Issachar on the east. Within Issachar and Asher, Manasseh had Bethshean with its towns, Ebleam with its towns, and the inhabitants of Dor with its towns, the inhabitants of Endor with its towns, the inhabitants of Tanakh with its towns, the inhabitants of Megiddo with its towns, the 3 cities of Naphath. The descendants of Manasseh could not possess these cities, because the Canaanites were determined to stay in this land. However, when the Israelites grew strong, they imposed forced labor on the Canaanites, but did not drive them out completely. Joseph's descendants said to Joshua, "Why did you give us only one tribal allotment as an inheritance? We have many people because the Lord has been blessing us greatly." "If you have so many people," Joshua replied to them, "go to the forest and clear an area for yourselves there in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaim, because Ephraim's hill country is too small for you." But the descendants of Joseph said, "The hill country is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites who inhabit the valley area have iron chariots, both at Bethshean with its towns and in the Jezreel valley." So Joshua replied to Joseph's family, that is Ephraim and Manasseh, "You have many people and great strength. You will not have just one allotment, because the hill country will be yours also. It is a forest. Clear it, and its outlying areas will be yours. You can also drive out the Canaanites, even though they have iron chariots and are strong." Chapter 18. The entire Israelite community assembled at Shiloh, where it set up the tent of meeting there. The land had been subdued by them. 7 tribes among the Israelites were left who had not divided their inheritance. So Joshua said to the Israelites, "How long will you delay going out to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, gave you? Appoint for yourselves 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out. They are to go and survey the land, write a description of it for the purpose of their inheritance, and return to me. Then they are to divide it into 7 portions. Judah is to remain in its territory in the south, and Joseph's family in their territory in the north. When you have written a description of the 7 portions of the land and brought it to me, I will cast lots for you there in the presence of the Lord our God. But the Levites among you do not get a portion, because their inheritance is the priesthood of the Lord. Gad, Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh have taken their inheritance beyond the Jordan to the east, which Moses, the Lord's servant, gave them." As the men prepared to go, Joshua commanded them to write down a description of the land, saying, "Go and survey the land, write a description of it, and return to me. I will then cast lots for you here in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord." So the men left, went through the land, and described it by towns in a document of 7 sections. They returned to Joshua at the camp in Shiloh. Joshua cast lots for them there in the presence of the Lord, where he distributed the land to the Israelites according to their divisions. Then Lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin's descendants by their clans, and their allotted territory lay between Judah's descendants and Joseph's descendants. Their border on the north side began at the Jordan, ascended to the slope of Jericho on the north, through the hill country westward, and ended in the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there, the border went toward Luz, to the southern slope of Luz, that is Bethel. It went down to Ataroth Adar, over the hill south of lower Beth Horon. On the west side, from the hill facing Beth Horon on the south, the border curved, turning southward, and ended in Kirjath Baal, that is Kirjath Jearim, a city of the descendants of Judah. This was the west side of their border. The south side began at the edge of Kirjath Jearim, and the border extended westward. It went to the spring at the waters of Nephtoah. The border descended to the foot of the hill that faces the valley of Hinnom, at the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. It ran down the valley of Hinnom toward the south Jebusite slope and downward to En Rogel. It curved northward and went to En Shemesh and on to Gililoth, which is opposite the ascent of Edumim, and continued down to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. Then it went north to the slope opposite the Jordan Valley, and proceeded into the valley. The border continued to the north slope of Beth Hoglah and ended at the northern bay of the Dead Sea, at the southern end of the Jordan. This was the southern border. The Jordan formed the border on the east side. This was the inheritance of Benjamin's descendants by their clans according to its surrounding borders. These were the cities of the tribe of Benjamin's descendants by their clans: Jericho, Beth Hoglah, and Mekheziz, Beth Araba, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Perah, Orphra, Shepharamoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 cities with their villages: Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Shephirah, Moza, Rakim, Irpeel, Tarala, Zela, Hailiph, Jebus, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath, 14 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance for Benjamin's descendants by their clans.